Now it's time for the moment you've been waiting for. It's about time to talk about my mega base in Minecraft. I've gave it the name of Oasis Mega Base, and you're probably wondering, well, why do I call it the Oasis Mega Base? It's pretty much because I'm in a Badlands, and I thought it would be kind of kick-ass to have my base be like a oasis, like a mirage or something, like a paradise in between the, empty desert. I went with like a theme like that, but I also wanted to do like classic Minecraft kind of textures. I was just getting so fucking tired of these like big ass bases with like 100 block textures. And don't get me wrong, some of these bases look really cool, but I feel like they use too much that it looks like vomit. So when I started building this base, I made sure to really only go with maybe 1 or 3 block types. I wanted my base to feel like I just got transported to like 1.7.10. Now, to my knowledge, I've technically had this world for about a year now. I started talking about it in like messages around somewhere around December of 2024. I still have a picture on where I started planning like how this base was going to look like. And I must have thought it was something special because I took a lot of pictures. There's actually some pictures that I can actually like recreate and I can actually have it fade in. As of right now, I've only hit 3,000 days in my world. But the crazy thing about this, pretty much where I basically documented everything in my world, I actually know when I defeated the Ender Dragon on which day. Which it was day 67. I got my mending book around day 37. On day 170, I already had my bedroom already made and the smelting room already made. Now, I'm mainly showing this off mainly for the nerds who just want to ask like how demanding is this on my computer. Now, I do have a couple of performance mods installed, and I also have a couple of redstone things that's supposed to mitigate entities. But to put it like this, if I didn't have the Entity Holy mod installed and I went to the like item sorter in my house, it would drop all the way down to 25 FPS. Now, I think it has something to do with the chests because I think, if I remember correctly, chests do count as entities. But I put this in here so people would know how demanding this thing is. Pretty much the graphics card and the CPU I'm using is a RTX 4090 with a Ryzen 7 5800X3D. Other than that, I'm gonna let real-time me basically show you around. Alright, so this is pretty much how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the bedroom right here. But then we're gonna move down the hallway and then we're gonna take, we're gonna take a left. And then once we're done with the left, we're gonna move to the right. And then we're just gonna work our way from there. So anyway, this is the bedroom, and as you can see, this is a very schwanky bedroom. I got the clocks right here. I got the armor stands to basically flex at this point. And we got some fucking candles right here, right outside the window where you can see the big creeper. And like I said, this is a very schwanky little bedroom. I would love to have a bedroom like this, but with curtains. Anyway, moving on. Coming down this way, you got cows, you got villagers, you got horses, sheep, whatever you would ever need. We also got this little chicken thing that, poops out chicken eggs, which is nothing wrong with that. The reason I have signs here is mainly because when Jordan joined this world, he instantly just got confused. He didn't really know where to go, so I kind of put up this kind of rig right here where you would at least know north, south, and west, and also east. Moving on to the left, we have basically the cafeteria, and it's very barren mainly because I've never built it yet, because when I wanted to build it, I already had golden carrots. And golden carrots are basically the best food in the game, so I never bothered making a cafeteria. But I have been planning it. I've been kind of planning this part for a while. I wanted a way where I could press a button and then the food just comes out of nowhere. So that's kind of been the biggest thing I've been trying to figure out with this. Moving downstairs, well actually we'll go upstairs real quick. Going upstairs, this is basically a place to put all my tools and random shit, right? It's basically the attic. We also have these dupers right here that dupe out rails and stuff. It's nothing pretty crazy. It's just dupes every rail that I would ever need. So it's basically just this right here. As you can see right here, this is a little bit of a, you know, aesthetic kind of looks right here. You got Dave over here selling me steroids and shit. But you also have, you know, weights and like, you know, like little punchy things, you know, random aesthetic stuff, right? Once you start going upstairs, you have the 2 beacons on both sides. But also in the middle, you have the Tree of Prosperity. And, you know, I made a little story about this thing. And it's basically, if this tree gets chopped down, then it's basically chaos and apocalypse and yada yada, right? But the one thing I did add to it was a actual, like, you can actually give gifts to the tree. So you just give, like, your random offering, and it goes into just a random hopper or whatever. No, nothing too crazy, it's just a hopper, and that's it. Anyway, going down from this way, you go this way and this way. And this is actually leading up to, like, the pet room. So if I need, like, cats or dogs or anything like that, I just come this way and they're just right here waiting for me. I just pick one up and move on. There's one special thing in this room that I do have, though. And it's not, like, this whole lineup, which I want to switch with, you know, I want to do a sorter with copper golems. And make it way much more easier to sort. But the coolest thing in this room is this thing right in the middle. And you probably already know what it is with TNT, but if I think if I take my helmet off and go in the middle and I press this button, this is basically gonna launch me out. And it's gonna take, oh fuck. Dude, that fucking first ever time that's ever happened to me in my entire life. Anyway, you press this button, you wait for the explosion, and you get popped out like this. And I made this just in case there was ever a time I would, like, die or something, and I needed a fast way out. That's the main reason why I made the TNT cannon. Just to have a little thing that I could shoot out of in a nick of time, right? This is basically the top done. There's not really too much to really show. There is, like, a little bread feeder right here, too. I forgot to show this off, but this is a little bread feeder, so if you press this button, you know, bread starts going out and it starts feeding the villagers. I need to stop doing that, though. I don't want any more little shits to deal with. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move down, and we're gonna move downstairs. Now, downstairs is the real interesting part, because this is where all the villagers are. This is the, I guess you would call it villager trading hall, with all the best enchantments in the game. I called this guy him because he has the mending book. And I got that guy very early on. Like, I got it maybe like day 13 I got that guy. So it was very... It was very important to have that guy. So, you know, I have Unbreaking 3, Silk Touch, I have Fortune 3, another Silk Touch books, you know, Sharpness 5, Thorns, if I don't want Thorns, Efficiency 5. You know, I got basically everything I would ever need. I got Looting 3, Breach 3. Anything that I would want to physically put on a pickaxe or a sword, I basically got it right here. So anyway, we'll go ahead and move down this way. Down here is mainly for, like, random things like tools, you know, armor. Basically just things I would want to buy at some point, like chainmail. The best villager out of this whole lineup is definitely the stone cutters. Because not only I could sell stone, but I can also buy bricks and, like, buy quartz. And that's been, like, the best thing to get, really, especially with the bricks. So yeah, we got this right here. We also have farmers over here, which is like, I have farmers over on the other way, but they all sell golden carrots and they all sell pumpkins and melons, which is a good thing, because that's how I make most of the emeralds. And as you can see, like, I have a lot more, like, I could fit a lot more villagers in here. I just haven't done it yet because I've just been stupidly lazy. Anyway, if we go out this way now, this is the other left side, right? We have a bamboo farm underneath here, which fuels some of the furnaces in my house. If we come this way, this is basically an ice boat right here. Or, you know, like a little ice way for boats. And there's really nothing special down this way. I haven't really got far enough to really make anything out here yet. Oh shit. Oh fuck me. Oh. At some point, whenever I get done with this entire thing, I want to basically expand outward. And I'm glad I kind of already started work on this, because once I pick up work again, I could just pick up where I left off. After you see the bamboo farm, you come down this way and you see a sniffer farm. And this is probably the first ever time I've ever messed with sniffers. But I finally did it in this world, and I'm kind of, I guess, bittersweet about it, because they're not really like the craziest mob to have, right? But I got them anyway, and I got them all going down in Bone Mill right now. Basically, this farm is really simple. It is so simple, probably a 2-year-old can probably do it. Basically, it's mud on top and hoppers underneath. It's very much a simple process, but you can see how many hoppers I put into this, and there's about a dozen. Anyway, this is basically the left side, right? It's nothing. It's not nothing too huge, right? Oh wait, there's just, why is this here? Okay, whatever. So we're gonna go ahead and go back up top. We're gonna use this item elevator, or not item. We're gonna use this elevator. Jesus, if I ever did live stream, I think I'm cooked. I didn't have an entrance at the time when I first made this place, so I needed a better entrance. So I made this kind of item elevator to the top to the bottom, so you can pretty much get off the mountain and get back on the mountain. Also, the cool thing about this thing too, as well, is I got it to where you can pretty much call it back. So if you press this button here, you can look down and it'll come back up. That's basically the same thing like vice versa. So if I was like down here and I needed to get the elevator down, I just press this button and it comes back down. So it's very simple, but I think I want to change it out. I want a elevator that has like the 4 on it, or the these signs instead of the 2. But like I said, it's a very like just really decent way to get to your base, basically. Anyway, enough of that. We're gonna go ahead and talk about the right. So let's go ahead and move to the right real quick. So there was huge plans for this room, which I'm thinking about just changing the plans entirely. So at one point, I was gonna make this into a teleporting room, which if you guys have watched any like Minecraft videos, there's a way you could take an ender pearl and then like a trapdoor, and like once you like activate the trapdoor, the ender pearl activates and you're instantly teleported. And I was wanting to do that, but I got really concerned on like not trying to lag out my world, that I think I'm going to start going into another direction. But I've had other plans to do with this room. I've also thought about knowing the cafeterias over that way, I could have this as like a food storage room. And, you know, if I could find a way, maybe have it link over here somehow, but I don't know how that would work. I could have, like, maybe something coming out of this end, I don't know. But that's pretty much it for this room. There's really nothing special except for this OG map. Going down these stairs, and we're heading right into the lava room. This is the lava farm, basically. And you got these little nice little staircases. You got these lights, and you have this down part right here. And I'm very proud of this one though, because this is an AFK lava room. Basically, you want to have a stack of buckets when you do this, because if you don't, I mean, you're gonna fuck up with the lava. But as long as you have like a stack of buckets on you, this works pretty well. The coolest thing about this design though is when it comes around right, it shoots the buckets, but then it also goes back into the hopper. This at some point goes back in the hopper. It just takes a minute. Yeah, see, there you go, it shot back up. But I wonder if we're gonna have to grab that bucket. Oh wait, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Now, once you're done from the lava room, you can head out this way where you can firstly oversee the kelp farm right there with the flying machine right there. But also the guest room, which basically I got inspired mainly because of Jordan. And he came into this world basically with nothing. So I wanted a place where people could kind of have a little safe haven, if you would say, right? So basically this is like the crafting room. And I like how like far it is from the like actual place because my bedroom is right there. But if you go down the stairs, hold on. If you go down the stairs right here, it goes basically to some bedrooms with some, you know, sword units or whatever. And I showed Jordan this, and he basically said it looked like prison cells, which I think I nailed it perfectly. Then you have basically a public enchantment table, right? Then you have this little like seating area where you can see like the items coming into the sorting system. This doesn't really go out to anywhere though. This basically goes out to the automated wheat farm. Let me go ahead and sleep real quick. And then here we go, we're back over here again. So, and like there's also a shortcut this way to get back to the main area. It's basically, yeah, right over there, there's the doorway. But there's just multiple ways to go from place to place, really. Anyway, oh yeah, I gotta show off this thing. So, this is a detection thing. So, whenever, this is hooked up to my iron farm, right? So, I would have this problem where something would get stuck in the crafters, and it wouldn't craft like iron blocks. So what I did was I made this little detection system. So whenever there was ever something in the crafters and it wasn't crafting, this would extend upwards and stay extended for a long period of time. Which it works, by the way, because there was one time I was flying through here and I saw it extended, and sure enough, it got clogged by like some zombie flesh. But I'm gonna show you like the inner workings on this one. If I put like a chest in here and wait for some iron to come through. Alright, there we go. So, knowing there's something clogging this now, this goes all the way up, goes right here, extends this thing outward. Hold on. So when there's something that is clogged, it always stays like this. But when I go to unclog it, here we go. Oh wait, whoops. Don't want to put dirt in there. But anyway, once we do that, the problem fixes itself. It stays. It basically goes back to being non-extended. So every time when it does it. Every time when it pushes up and then pushes down, that means a block is being made. So it also tells me that, you know, iron block just got made right there. And I want to do this with the bamboo farm, but it's all the way over there, and this is all the way over here. And I don't know how I would actually pull that off, especially with all the other stuff that's been built around it, so I'd have to figure that out. But I got it made for the iron farm, and it's great. I love this thing. But if you go downwards and go to the right, we're gonna go ahead and maybe do this one first, which is nothing like really special. You can tell that, you know, there's still stuff that needs to be made here. I don't know what I'm gonna put here, but I'm definitely gonna put something. That's where the this right here is actually, it went up to the teleportation stuff. So I might have to break this down or come in here and like tear this apart really, because I'm not using it anymore. Anyway, this leads down to like a train track that goes all the way that way to the gold farm. But we're not going to talk about that right just yet. Anyway, we got this right here, which is just... I kept on making like redstone farms, and I wanted to make some like decorative stuff, so I kind of made this as a little decorative thing to kind of like get my mind off things. And these actually work, by the way. These are daylight sensors. So it's hooked up to this daylight sensor right here, and once it hits a certain time, these things actually light up during the night. But knowing it's during the day, they're turned off. We also have a outhouse right here where you can kind of do your business in, and you know that looks pretty good too. We also have a public trash can, which actually works, by the way. Let's I don't want to offer pumpkin seeds. Actually works. Basically what's going on is there's a Minecraft minecart right there, minecart hopper. And it's going into a hopper that's going into a dispenser, and then it's constantly spitting out with a observer block. And it's pretty much shooting into lava, basically. And, yeah, it works basically perfectly. It's about the way I wanted it. Now, this is a room that I've been trying to debate on what I want to do with it. I don't know if it should be food storage or if it should be like a place where I can hold like animals, which I do have armadillos right here. And I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with this room. So right now this room is kind of like up in the air. I don't really know what I want to do with it. But it looks very fancy, because I got little floating like rails right there, and it's like... It actually does with the shader, so you can see it on the ground and stuff. It's really nice. Now, let's go over here, and we're going to talk about the kelp farm. Out of all the farms that I've made in this game, kelp has to be the worst. It is so needy on what it has to do to be, like, actually running... Pretty much to run automated, or, like, automatic, right? So, firstly, if none of you don't know, when the kelp goes up to a certain height, and when the kelp grows, it turns whatever flowing water into stagnant water. And why that's a huge problem, right? I'll tell you why it's a huge problem. That's basically how I get the items to push over here into those hoppers. So when kelp grows up right here, or grows up like right there, it would turn it into a stagnant water block. And that really, really sucks. So this is why this guy right here is on 24/7. And he's here to pretty much cut down all this kelp so it doesn't get to this height. But I also made the thing a little bit taller too. Mainly because this thing can also break down too. And the kelp will still grow anyway, so I try to, like, mitigate that as best I can. And, you know, hopefully, as of right now, it seems to be working. Like, I put this, this right here, because this works as kind of like a chunk loader. Which, after I put this in, this guy hasn't been stopping, so... Hopefully that stays like that, but I keep on checking just to make sure this guy keeps going. Basically, oh yeah, I should show that off. Hold on. I should show off on how this thing actually extends and stuff. So, how this thing works, or how it harvests, right? there's these sensors right here on both sides, right? On both sides. That once a kelp block gets right in front of this, it comes over, activates this flying machine. It goes all the way to the end. And then the flying machine activates this observer right here, which goes all the way up to... There's some observer blocks that way. Which goes into these observer blocks and flicks this trapdoor. Which flicks off the observer block, making it go back. If that made sense. I'm gonna probably just let it go off and like just show you what I mean, so you get a better idea on what I'm trying to say. And that's basically how it works. It works just like that. And also, by the way, I put daylight sensors on these things too, so they light up during the dark too. But that's basically how this thing works. You just press it and then it goes out. And I think I just fucking broke it off. Fuck. Up. Simple as 1, 2. It's not really a big deal. I've had to do this like so many times, it's not even funny. It should work. There we go, so get to see it again right here. And then all these ones that are going up to the top. We'll wait on this so I can show it. But it goes all the way to the top, and where that flowing water, it goes right into those hoppers. Which means it can instantly get turned into kelp. Yeah, like I said, like, kelp is like the most annoying thing to farm, I feel like. Because I had to sit there for like 3 days straight trying to figure out how to make this thing work. But basically how this thing works is once the kelp gets dropped here, it goes all the way into these mine carts, goes into these furnaces, goes into a crafter, and then gets turned into kelp blocks. So, as you can see, it seems like it's doing pretty good so far. I think I have enough to basically just throw around like willy-nilly. But I mainly made this so I can kind of flex and say I have it. Anyway, moving on. I guess I'll cover this a little bit, but I think I want to add in like a boat area right here. Now, the reason I haven't done it yet is mainly because there's squids there right here, and I didn't know if I wanted to farm those yet or anything like that. But I looked up how you would make a farm like that, and you basically had to get rid of this whole lake, and I don't really want to do that. So for right now, I think I'm going to turn this into like a boat thing. Or a place where you can get a boat and just go out with the lake. But as you can see, this is how much I've made of it. Then, of course, I forgot. You have the courtyard right here, or this like little yard that I haven't done nothing with it yet. This is another one of those where I built it and then like I come back to it and figure out something for it. Now let's go ahead and go back to the I'm gonna go back to the railway, and I'll show you the gold farm. Just go, pretty much you get to the railway, you just go down this place right here, and you just go here, and bam. And you're basically right here at the little railway. So, nothing simple. Like, I just wanted something I really wanted to use, like, rails. And, this seemed like a cool way to use rails. So, we're gonna go ahead and go down it. Now, I haven't done any decoration yet. I still haven't done anything. I just kind of digged it out, and I've been kind of waiting on something to do with it. But, as you can see, it's still pretty impressive because of how long it is and basically the glass and stuff. But go ahead and just wait. And then now we're at the gold farm. So let's go ahead and go over here. And you come out this way. As you can see, that's how far we are from the base right there. It's just right there. But you go into this little hole right here. And this is on top of the nether, by the way. So I had a glitch to the nether. So right up here is the gold farm. And this is another one of those where it's not too fancy, but it just gets the job done. So you just sit right here, and you wait until mobs start spawning. So basically what's going on is the zombie pigmen are spawning on these magnum cubes, right? And right in the middle of this thing is turtle eggs. And the zombie pigmen are like attracted to turtle eggs. So they start walking into the middle, but the thing is we have trapdoors on the ends of those. So that pretty much fucks up their AI, and that makes them drop all the way down into the collection bin right here. Ow. Anyway, how I have this working right now is I got a bunch of wither roses right here, so they instantly die, and they just keep dying right here, and they always drop their nuggets and rotten flesh. Anyway, also too, I have an item sorter hooked up to this thing, so it sorts out rotten flesh, gold ingots, and gold nuggets. But those gold nuggets are actually hooked up to auto crafter too, so it always auto crafts gold ingots. And then anything else like swords or like armor or anything like that, it just goes straight into lava. I don't really give two fucks about it, so it goes into lava. But yeah, this is basically a really good farm, and like maybe at some point I should expand it, but this thing works too good for like 3 layers that I haven't really messed with it any. I mean, they just keep popping out of this thing. Alright. So that's basically the gold farm right there. And then there we go. So once you're done from getting gold, maybe you want to get some iron, right? So you can head out this way, and this goes straight over here to the iron farm. Now this thing is pretty straightforward. Let me see if I can get underneath so I can show you what's going on here. So basically how this iron farm works is there's 3 villagers on beds right here with a zombie with a name tag on them. And so basically those villagers get spooked and they make a iron golem, which the only place that a iron golem can spawn is right in that area. And so it basically goes into the water, it spawns right there, it goes into the lava, and then all his stuff is pretty much picked up by the hoppers underneath him. So, very simple. This is a very good design. I really like it. I'm glad I found it on YouTube. This is basically giving me so much iron that I can turn basically iron blocks into decorative blocks. I'm able to use hoppers as a I'm able to basically use hoppers as a decoration and not like a redstone use. That's how much these iron farms has really helped me. But anyway, I got about 3 of these iron golem, or as of right now I have like 3 of these iron golem farms. That one right over there was the first one I made. This one's the second one, and that's the 3rd one I made so far. But at some point, I think I want to make one maybe right down this way or right down that way. I don't know which one, but this goes straight into a basically big silo, which is that thing right there, which we'll get to it at some point. Also, another thing that's near the iron golem farm is a pumpkin and melon farm. So these things are like stacked on top of each other. So this right here, if I remember correctly, is the pumpkin. I don't know if I have anything to show it, but basically there's a pumpkin farm right there. And how this thing works is once the pumpkin spawns, this thing updates with the observer block, and then on top of its redstone, And once it detects it pretty much placing down a pumpkin, this piston extends, and then it breaks the pumpkin. And underneath all of this is a minecart, right? And so it goes underneath, collecting it from underneath. And this thing, I'm glad I have this, because this basically gives me unlimited amounts of emeralds. Not only that, they are very good at bone milling. Like, if you put these things into composters, these things work really, really good. These things work so good at making bone meal that I started second guessing if I needed a skeleton spawner. Anyway, the melon works pretty much the melon works the same, but the thing is, hold on, let me see if I can get up here. So basically, melon works the same right here, but the thing is it spits out its items right here, and it goes right into a crafter. So that means every time when there is a every time when there's melons being picked up right up there, it gets spit out here and crafted into melons. So I don't have to deal with all that baloney. Anyway, we got this done right here, and then right on top, okay, I thought something was broke right here. I was like, hold on. No, okay. So right here is basically the automatic wheat farm. So there's actually a funny story with this, right? So I had this farm over here, this wheat farm, and I was very happy with this. I was happy to kind of deal with this all the way through the whole game, right? But then my friends started making fun of me, being like, well, you have everything else, but not an automatic wheat farm. And so I said, you motherfuckers. And so I built an automatic wheat farm. And I'm glad they did that to me, because now I don't really have to worry about wheat again. There's never been a time I had to worry about needing wheat, because this basically does it for me. So how it works is, I'll try to explain it as best I can. Is by the way, I don't make these farms. By the way, I mainly look them up on YouTube. So these are not original from me. Anyway, so there's a farmer in the middle that has basically seeds for days, right? And then you have these lays that have bone meal seeds and wheat. So every time when the villager pretty much drops something, these lays go and pick it up. And then knowing there's noise constantly going right here to the hoppers, they constantly drop the items at the hoppers. Then it goes down into these hoppers, which sorts it out, and goes into this hopper. Once this thing hits, once this thing makes a hay bale, this gets shot up and goes into the, I don't know what to really call these things, but they're like waterways for items, right? And that goes straight into the sorter. This thing instantly puts itself in the sorter, so I don't have to deal with it. So, like I said, I don't have to worry about wheat ever again. Where the fuck's my phone? Where's my phone at? I hear you, you son of a bitch. Okay, it's just telling me it's 3 o'clock in the morning. No big dilly. It's only like the devil's hour. Anyway, this right here is nothing special. This is just a little AFK place. So I stand right here, and it basically blocks all the doors, just in case if mobs come in. And this is mainly for AFKing at the Iron Golem farm. But then I realized they basically work on their own, especially when I'm in the area. So this thing basically became useless. I never use this ever. Oh, hold on. Maybe we can see this thing actually going out. I want to see that. Hold on. There it goes. Oh. Whoop, whoop. And then it goes into there. Then it gets shot into the glass elevator. And then there goes the items into the silo. Anyway, the reason I have the villager breeder right here is mainly because it's made for iron golem farms. But this thing that I made right here is absolutely important to make iron golem farms, and I'm gonna explain why. If you come over here, just give it a minute. We have zombies right here being contained, and we have a place where we can put our minecarts. But everything starts to get interesting once we take this elevator down. If you can see it, I don't know if you can see it, but right over there is a zombie spawner. Basically surrounded in fucking I can't remember what this thing is called. Tinted glass. It's basically wrapped around tinted glass. And there's a villager right here leading the zombies into the hole. And what happens is when there's enough zombies in the hole, a zombie gets pushed out and sucked up to the top. And it might take a little bit, but this thing wasn't supposed to be efficient. It was just supposed to give me at least one zombie. Ah, there we go. So, see right there, he went all the way up into the little containment little thing upstairs. So, we'll go ahead and go up there. Anyway, once you have a zombie, you press this button right here. It picks up a zombie and it takes it. Goes all the way over there. Goes in there. And guess where it comes out of? You guessed it, right here. So, this makes stuff just a whole lot easier because you could just take a name tag and just name tag them. And then you can basically make about as many iron golem farms as you want. And at some point I'm going to probably make iron golem number 4 because I think we need more iron. But other than that, I basically made a farm to make another farm. And it sounds stupid on paper, but I swear this is like the most easiest way to do it. Anyway, this right here is nothing like special. This is being basically testing the idea of like having a daylight sensor system where once it becomes like nighttime, a daylight sensor pops off and it ignites this and it basically turns the thing to light. And the reason I have this is mainly because I'm getting tired of all this glowstone everywhere. I want to basically have a more fancy way of doing it. Problem is, and this is the new problem I have on my world, these things are very, very expensive. This thing takes a blaze lord to make, and unfortunately I don't have a blaze farm, which is kind of funny because now we're on 3074, and yeah, I don't have a blaze farm. But, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so this little room right here is basically, this is really nothing special, but this is where the roses come from with the iron golems. Because, I think there is a sorter, I can't really remember because it's been that long ago. But every time when there's a rose, it goes into these hoppers, and goes into these composters, and then goes into the bone mill. And this thing gets shot up, and then guess what? It goes into the item sorter. So, basically a seamless transition. I don't even know it's there, basically. Anyway, once we're done talking about all this, we go right here. And basically this is very simple, Blaze. This is basically a potion room. Very simple, you know, manual, whatever. This is where a teleporter location was, so you could teleport right here and then come out right here. But I don't know what I'm gonna do with this room after I take that stuff out, right? So I don't know what I'm gonna do here. If we go down this way, this goes also to the item sorter that we're talking about. But we're going to continue down this way. And this way is very special. This is a bamboo holder. That's basically what I can call it. And so, bamboo pretty much goes into these chests right here and it stacks up, right? But the best thing about this farm, and I'm glad I made it, is there's this button right here. And if you flick it, all the bamboo goes out. And you're probably wondering, well, why is that a big deal? Let's just go behind the wall real quick. So that bamboo that was dropping out of that chest up top, it's basically turning that lever that I flicked, turn these torches off, which unlock these hoppers, which is going into this right here. And underneath this is basically a crafter that is already fucking, oh wow. I did not know it was clogged. Might need a thingy on this one now. Anyway, you flick the lever, these turn off, these unlock, these go right into here, go right here. This thing dispenses into this chest, right? Goes down into this, goes into this. And pretty much what happens is, well there you go. What happens is that bamboo goes into that crafter, crafts it into a bamboo block, and then gets shot this way. And this works on both sides. So you can have, if there's bamboo right here, bamboo right there, bamboo right there, it goes into these two crafters and gets crafted. When we're done talking about that, we're just going to patch this hole up. And so that means you can have either bamboo blocks or bamboo on its own. It's basically pick your poison. And I've been wanting to do this for a long time. It's just only here recently I've been able to do this. But right behind here, which I don't know why I made this. I could have just put an auto crafter of some sort right here. But this is basically like a speed crafter loader that you just put the bamboo in. It goes right here and you just craft it and it drops into this chest. Like I said, it's a manual crafter loader. Basically, this is the best thing that I've ever made, because it gives you like pretty much options on how you want the item. You can have it just regular bamboo or in the bamboo blocks. Anyway, let's see, where was I gonna go with this? Alright, so we'll go ahead and head to the left side. So we're not going to talk about the item sorter yet, because it has multiple layers to it. So we're going to talk about the skeleton farm that's right here. So when I first built this, I made sure that there was a skeleton farm. So basically right down here, if you want to sit here in AFK, you can sit here and spawn basically skeletons. Right? And how this farm works, by the way, is they go on, you know, they have a mobile column, they go into this right here, all this stuff goes right in here, into this glass elevator, into that Minecraft hopper. Right here is an item sorter for the arrows, right? But then it takes all the bones, puts it into to this chest right here, goes into this barrel, into that right there, and it crafts a block. And then it goes like this. Like that. And you're probably wondering, well, where does that go? And it's basically the same thing I've been saying this whole entire video, which is the item sorter. It goes straight into the sorting system. Like I said, no hassle, just straight into the thing. Once we're done talking about the skeleton farm, we're gonna go back into the potion room and go up top. Knowing we're back in the potion room, we're gonna go ahead and go up the stairs, and instantly we're in the silo room. And you're probably like, okay, well, why do you need a silo? It's basically to hold items in bulk. So, stuff that I deem necessary to have in bulk, I keep. Like, I keep in bulk. So, for example, on this floor we have iron. and we have a butt ton of iron. And this thing goes all the way around to right here. That's how much it can hold. But I've also made this up a little bit. So on the second floor, this thing holds sugarcane. I deem sugarcane a very needed item that I always need in bulk. So this is right here as well. On the third layer, we have pumpkins, and I'm thinking the next layer is going to be melons, but this is about as far as it goes, and we're already hitting basically the limit of the silo. But this silo was made pretty much to hold items in bulk. But yeah, pretty much this one area right here only exists to basically hold items in bulk. Now, there is one cool thing about this sorter, by the way, and I haven't showed it off yet, but it has something to do with the sugarcane. So, right here, you can't see it, but I'm going to see if I can get over there real quick. So, right here, which is this thing right here, this is a sugarcane and bamboo farm. So everything down here is bamboo on this side, and everything on this side is sugarcane. Anyway. Oh, damn. Okay, there's nothing in there anyway. Basically, this is a simple little setup. So how it works is whenever there's an item in the minecart, it detects that, turns off the power rail, so the minecart can actually take all the items out of its inventory. And once it's fully empty, it turns the power rail back on, making the minecart go back to what it was doing. So when I first made this, I didn't have no sorter or no silo to put it in. So I would always put it in four double chests, right? But what would happen is I would pay no attention to it, and then it would get clogged up. And so what I did here is this bamboo thing is going underneath, which underneath us is the bamboo thing I showed you a minute ago. And then this thing right here is actually taking the sugarcane and putting it over to the silo. So I'm going to show you an example, right? Anyway, once you put these sugarcane right here, you can go way over here. And it might take a minute, but as you can see, the sugarcane starts flowing into the chest that it's in. So if you go down this way, it's going into this chest right here. So like I said, all the storage and all the redstone is all connected into a certain place, right? Anyway, now when we're done with the silo room, we can head into the sorting room. This right here is basically what makes my game lag the most, and it's mainly because of all the chests. So there's chests this way that's just manual storage, where I just manually put the stuff in here, whatever, right? But we also have the sorter system. And basically how this thing works is you have the classical sorter system in the back, and once the item can't find a place to put it, or a place to put it in, it goes down here, and then it goes to another layer. If I can show that off, it's right down here. It basically comes down here, and if it doesn't have a place down here, it gets shot again and goes underneath, goes again, yada yada yada. I think you get the point. So I'll show you a little example with some stone. So right here, there's a hole in the wall, and it's a bubble column, but this goes straight into the sorter system. So if I put this right here, and then just fly over here, fly back this way, it's going to start going into the sorter system. But let's see, I think, what kind of block do I have? Well, we'll do packed ice. We'll do that. So this thing's on multiple floors, by the way. So if I put this pack ice right here, it might take a minute, but you can actually see it getting dispensed out right here. It'll check all of these ones until coming right here and dropping down into the other one. As you can see the Pactites getting dropped. And if you come down this way, you can see it being added. So this works pretty efficiently. And this thing goes down multiple layers. So if we go down this way, there's redstone right here. You know, you got pistons, you got, you know, everything you would need for redstone all the way down here. Daylight sensors, smokers, crafters, anything. Then you go down another layer. And then all you have is wood types. You got this stone over here if you need some. You need andesite. You know, anything really. You go down this way. There's another sorter. Right here, you got dirt, pumpkins, you know, the whole 9 yards, pretty much. You basically come down this way, and there's basically, like, colored blocks right here. And, you know, you got concrete, you got all kinds of things, right? Down this way, you have stained glass, you got colored wool, you got everything you'd basically need. Then you come down this way, and then... This I actually made on my, myself. I made this little mine here, which looks really nice. And apparently I left some items, which I'm gonna take back actually. So yeah, pretty much the whole item sorter is not complete yet because we got this back way right here, and we also have this down here. But this leads right into the underground, by the way, which has a old-timey elevator. Which, once you flick it on, it actually comes to life. And you just go right here and you just flick it, and it's like bam, bam. Like I said, this thing's awesome, but this thing gets stuck really easily. Which is kind of the shitty part about it. But I like it. It looks really old-timey. It looks like an 1800s elevator. And that's what makes it really cool, though, in my opinion. Anyway, right out here, we basically get into the decoration part of all this, of all my building, which this is kind of like the underground. And if you actually, you know, like read the lengthy Twitter longer of the Tree of Prosperity, I basically mentioned that there's cities underneath the ground, right? And this is me pretty much hinting at this kind of like a building underneath the ground. But also, if you go down this way, there's also a cave spider farm that I have. And I haven't really done too much with it, but it's basically just a cave spider spawner. And this is just a good way to pretty much get spiders' eyes and string. I think it's a cave spider spawner. I don't know. Okay, well maybe it's not. It's one of the spider spawners. I know that. There's also another farm down here too, which is right over there, which I think needs to be fixed again. But if you go and break into it like this is basically a slime farm. So I don't know if I have anything in the chest because it's kind of like, it's not really that great. But I mean, 35 slime balls, which is not too bad. I always need slime balls for something. But that's basically one of the ways I get slime balls too. But now if you go over here, there's this pretty little lake with the Enderman right here. Now, if you've like watched any of my shorts, you would have seen where I put this Enderman in a boat, and I basically I hate water on him. And like I said, he's still sitting here. He's been sitting here ever since that short I made. If you go up into this building, there's really nothing crazy going on here. There's a beacon right there. But if you go right up here, there's a little bit of something going on here. And At some point, I was thinking that maybe I could make this like a second home, like put like a furnace, like a super smelter down here, and like actually have another place where I can go. But I thought that was kind of dumb, mainly because I usually hang up on the surface anyway. So I'm not really sure what I want to do with this part. Once you're done looking at the whole underground and the cities and whatnot, you can come over here and reminisce at the lake, which actually has salmon in it, and there's actual glowstone underneath it. But if you see right there, there's a hole. So if you fly through this, there's this entire underground that I'm working on. And you could tell some of it's finished, some of it's not finished. But I actually came in here with some bone meal and stuff and did all this. Anyway, at some point I think I want to do like a glowberry farm down here, but I haven't really thought of any plans for it yet. But also another interesting thing, if you go and mine down the mine this down, right, you would find that underneath here is actually another crystal, like a crystal thing right here. So I've been kind of planning on turning this into something like another crystal farm, right? I can always use more crystals. Like I said, the only way I'm gonna get chicks is if I have crystals, because all the goth ladies like crystals. Anyway, another cool thing about this place in particular is there's a really cool exit you can do with this thing. There, right up there, there's like a little hole that goes out, and if you do that, it actually goes right to my base. So if I was to get stuck down there and I was like, man, I just want a fast way to get out, I just go up that way. So we're basically done with the left and the right, so we're just gonna go forward into the back. So right here in the back, we actually have fuck, what are they called? Clerics, which is my main source of redstone and also glowstone. So if you're probably asking, where did you get all the glowstone from? It's basically from these guys. Where I have the pumpkin farm and so many emeralds, I'm able just to buy it in bulk, basically. Once you come down this way, there's also another warp farm right here. So this is about the same way as the wheat farm. You just flick this lever and it just goes down and it goes into a hopper. Basically, it's very simple. You come down this way, this is where the cool stuff happens. And I don't think I'm going to show this off, mainly because this thing is a real pain to like actually get it to work. But this is basically a tree farm right here. And so pretty much whenever I need like spruce, oak, birch, anything like that where, you know, like it's a single block, I just go up here and I do it. Now, the thing that sucks about this tree farm is it used to be so much overpowered in like 1.20, but I think they changed the way how explosion works in Minecraft to where you always take explosion damage. Which, that would be fine and dandy if it didn't take off all my, you know, my netherite durability. So that's what really sucks about it. But there has been things that I've tried to do to, like, you know, mitigate a lot of my armor depleting. And one of the things that I tried was doing, like, XP bottles. Like, having, like, an XP bottle right here constantly shooting onto my character. But I mean, that's still really expensive, but also not expensive at the same time. It's just a lot more hassle to get, like, wood, basically. Anyway, we're gonna move on to this vine farm. This thing is basically straight simple. There's a minecart right here. You take your shears. You push it a little bit, you just hold down the click button, and there you go. And that's basically the vine farm, basically explained. Now, when I do this, I usually have like a efficiency 5 shear, you know, like I got really crazy shear. But the only thing that sucks about it is like you can't like sit here and AFK for too long because then your shears will break really quick. But whenever I need like vines or something, I got this right here. Now, out of all the redstone things that I've shown off in this video, this is the only one that I made all by myself. So, a gold star for me for this one. So, I took a little bit of inspiration, though, from over there, because the farm that I saw on YouTube had the same kind of thing. So, I took that from that, but everything else was, like, basically, I basically, planned up, right? So, anyway, how it works is once you flip this lever on, the TNT shoots out, it goes right there, it blows up, and then replaces with another TNT. I wanted this thing to be stupidly quick and efficient, so I got it to where the TNT lands on that block. Once it explodes, it replaces with another TNT block. Once you're ready for that, you flick this lever here, this turns on the cobblestone generator, and pushes all the blocks, in front. And so, I like how I did this. I actually did it by mistake, by the way. But, once it explodes, it goes right here and lands in the hopper just in time for the TNT not to destroy it. And this thing is pretty good efficient. Because, like, I mean, already that's like 40 right there. I think I still got stone on. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there we go. But as you can see, just from just standing here, this thing is super quick. Alright, hold on, let me turn this thing off now. Like I said, this is a very simple cobblestone farm, and like, this thing is so good that I don't really need to make another one. But the cool little thing about this one, though, is if you flick this lever, hold on, let me go right here. We're gonna go right here, we're gonna go back, hold on. Anyway, what's going on is underneath here, there's a carpet duper right here that's turning on all these furnaces. And these furnaces are spitting out into an item elevator right here, which goes all the way to the surface. So, hopefully when I flick this lever on, it sucks out all the stone that I collected, goes down into the furnace that is getting fueled by the copper dupes, or the carper dupes. Then it's going into a hopper that's spitting out into this thing, into this item elevator, going into this chest that gives me stone. So this cobblestone gen works in two ways. You can either have cobblestone or regular stone, and it depends on what situation are you in. That's basically all the farms over here. Basically going out to the farm right here, there's a cactus farm to our left. And I got it to where it just makes bone meal and then bone meal blocks, and you know how it goes. Goes into an item elevator, goes into the storage system, right? But if you come down this way, we also not only have a flower farm right here where we can collect flowers, but we also have a sheep farm right here, which has every color that a sheep can be. And if you go down this way, you can see that we have all the colors right here. And this one's very simple too, once you figure out how it works. So there's like a observer block right where that dirt block is. And once it switches over to green, or the grass type, the observer detects that, turns on that dispenser, and everything else is basically this thing coming in and putting the shears into the dispenser. Very simple stuff. Once you come down this way, you got the cows, which is a very simple starter one, but I've just multiplied it by like 100. You have turtles right here, and then right here you have a chicken farm, which I'm not really sure if it still works on this version or not. But the other version that I was on, it completely killed it. So I don't know if this thing is working correctly. Right over here is our crystal farm. So let's go ahead and look at that real quick, which is down in this scary little hole that you might die if you're not careful. Okay, there we go. So how this thing works is this observer piece is looking at this block right here, and every time when it hits, it shoots a block out. Once it loses all its blocks, it turns this torch on, which makes all the pistons right here knock all the crystals down. And this worked on other, this worked good on other versions, but I think on 1.21.9 you have to be a lot closer to it, because the way they kind of mess with chunks and stuff, I don't think it works too great anymore. But if you're like sitting right here and you're just like AFKing, I think it does pretty good. Like if you need like a bunch of these. Anyway, once these things go off, it goes into this water, which goes into these hoppers, which goes all the way back up to the surface. Which if you give it a minute, we'll give it a minute to come up. As you can see, they're starting to come up right now. And this thing does do pretty good. You kind of sit and forget it sometimes. I've had some times where I've gotten like 16. There's sometimes I've get like a stack. It just kind of depends on where you're at in the area. Once you're done from that way, you also have the bee farm, which I'm kind of not really satisfied with right now. Everything when it comes to like the honeycomb, this thing works perfectly, right? But when it comes to getting honey bottles, it's become a real pain sore. Because I tried this out, and I saw this on the internet, but it turns out that it completely just doesn't work anymore. So I'm basically I'm thinking I'm getting to the point that I just do pretty much like this, where I just come over here and I just take it from the actual thing. And that seems to pretty much work too, which is the crazy part about it. But maybe at some point, like maybe some point down in the future, I can have like a bee farm that spans really far off, and I have an auto clicker and I'm in a minecart, and I can have it where I just pretty much pick out the items through that way. But I haven't really done anything too much with it yet. But this is basically how I get honey blocks. Alright. Knowing we're done with that way, we're gonna finally talk about this thing, which is this is actually a resin farm. So I have two of these like hooked up. So once it becomes nighttime, the freaking spawns, and so I leave these guys right in here. And the more I keep on hitting them, their heart piece, if I can get it back up. Their heart piece pretty much comes out of these things, goes into here and into the hoppers, and that goes all the way into this chest right here. And that's just a way to get the new get new blocks basically. Knowing we're finally done talking about all of this, I think it's time to talk about these two parts right here. So this right here is the old creeper farm. Unfortunately, I do not use it anymore because the drops are absolutely just kind of poo-poo. It worked when I needed like gunpowder really badly, but nowadays it just doesn't really work that often. It's like maybe I get like 2 stacks out of this thing. Oh yeah, fuck it, we also have an AFK fish farm right here. I forgot about that. Dude, there's stuff in here that I don't even remember putting in here. Anyway. We go this way. And this is basically a more advanced way to get slime balls. So, this is another one of those things where, like, I got a little bit of inspiration off of YouTube. And I also got a little inspiration just fucking around on a super flat. So, how this works is, let me go over here. Let me just climb up here. So there's actually 2 farms in here, actually, because there's a place to get snowballs right here, which is right here. And then we have also a place to make jack-o'-lanterns, or I don't know what you would call them, but the fucking pumpkins with the face on it, right? Once you have enough snow and you have enough pumpkins, you can flick this lever on, and you can put your potion, your slime potion of oozing right here. And every time when you put two snow blocks right here, a pumpkin will go onto it and make a snow golem. Now, why do you need a snow golem? It's mainly because once you get these guys right here, once you get enough of them, they'll push each other to the left. And once this pretty much clicks off, this is a redstone clock. It shoots a potion of oozing out, and once this door opens, they get pushed into the down below part. And then once they die, basically slimes pretty much spawn, and that's how I pretty much get slime, basically. So one of these is for slime, and one of these is for snowballs. Oh, there's a pillager. Ow. Ow. Yeah, so I actually forgot to talk about the crafting and smelting room, you know, the most important part of this household. So we're right here at the item sorter room, and if you go up the stairs, to our right there's the crafting room right there, but to our left is the super smelter. And this thing is super advanced, actually. It doesn't look really advanced, but I'll show you the inner workings in a minute. But just to kind of show off something, I need like something to smelt. Anyway, once you have something to actually smelt, the great thing about this thing too is you don't have to worry about fuel. And I'll explain this later, but this thing constantly stays filled. Anyway, once you put the item of choice into the smelter, which will wait a minute, we'll flick this lever on, and all of these furnaces go off. Now, I think, if I'm correct, this is 16 furnaces right here. But there's also another 16 in the back, and also another 16 in the back. So that means you get stuff like this that pretty much smelts pretty quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the inner workings of this furnace. So if we go all the way over here to the crafting room and we break some blocks into the hole, this shows you how this thing works. So it goes all the way over here, these go all the way back to where they were. But I mean, you can see it, it's like 8 furnaces, like 2 right there. Then you have another 8 right there, or another 16. You basically have two 8s right here and 2 8s right here. And like they go into this thing and then go out back to the front. Like I said, this thing is like, I'm pretty sure I could go even bigger, but I haven't just done it yet. I need to go bigger. But Now it's really time to explain how this thing works. So let me go back to the back again. This is how it works. So I actually got this off the internet again, and I was actually surprised this thing actually worked because someone made this about 10 years ago, and I said there's no way in hell this thing's gonna work, but it turned out it did. So how it works is once these hoppers get full, this repeater right here, this comparator, right? It detects that, and depending on how much strength it has, it can lock up this torch, which could unlock this hopper. And when there's enough, like, filling it up, this thing unlocks it and goes underneath, and you can have it shoot off into lava. But I actually got it going into ice way, and I'll explain where that goes in a minute. But it goes basically to the kelp farm. Anyway, basically you're probably wondering, well, why did I made it this way? And the reason is I was so scared that the bamboo was gonna get stuck here, because I mean there was times where it did get stuck right here, and I was kind of scared that it would get to the point where there's too many entities and my game would crash. So I made this just in case that this stays automated, but also it doesn't prevent my game from crashing out. And this goes, and if you guys remember, right, this goes straight to the bamboo, the other bamboo farm. If I can, like, show it off. It basically goes to this bamboo farm. You know how I said there was, like, this basically fuels, like, both my, like, 2 of my furnaces in my house? That's pretty much what I meant. It pretty much fills the super smelter and the kelp farm smelter. So how it works is all the bamboo is coming into these hoppers. It's going into this thing, creating pretty much bamboo right here. Goes all the way into this ice way. Gets shot by droppers right there. Goes right into here. Gets detected by the thing, and it goes through. The reason it's not unlocking this hopper is mainly because I already used it, and I already used a bunch of bamboo already. So it's not going to go to the kelp farm, it's going to go back into this thing right here. But, just to show off the kelp farm. Gonna break into here for a minute. I have no, oh, there it is. Anyway, let me go over here. Boop. Anyway, right over here. Once the bamboo blocks come all the way to the super smelter, if it finds out that the kelp farm basically is full and it doesn't need any more fuel, it basically takes that bamboo, shoves it all the way down into lava. So it basically destroys the item. But if it finds out that the kelp farm needs bamboo to basically fuel itself, it'll go into this chest right here, which, you know, this thing desperately needs it desperately needs more bamboo. But that's basically how it works. I feel pretty smart doing that. I mean, I don't think I'm like a NASA genius because of it, but I feel like I'm really kind of utilizing all my fucking assets, you know what I mean? Anyway, you come down this way and we're at the crafting room right here. And as you can see, I already crafted these, but these are the new copper chest plates. So I put these 2 right here at the front. And this has all kinds of things to just manual crafting, but also auto crafting. So pretty much this took me a long time to make because I wasn't really motivated to really do it. But for a good couple of months, like I had like you know, at one time there used to be like a stone like generator right here. And then I was like, no, I want a crafting room. And then I would dig out a little bit and then dig out a little bit more. And at some point here recently, this happened here recently, I was like, fuck it, I need to make a crafting room. And so you have this one thing that has like chests where it can make chests for you. You got one that makes pretty much fireworks, which, ooh, that's not good. I kind of left that on. I just wasted all my gunpowder. Damn, that really sucks. It makes fireworks. You know, you can have it make 4x4s if you want to. I got this one, I think. Yeah, I had this one making shears because I needed. I heard that the new update was gonna make it where sheep can actually eat more and I can actually get more wool. So I felt like it was necessary to have more shears. But basically, if I flick this on, it basically creates more shears and stuff, depending on what you want to make or whatever. Like I said, I found this out on a YouTube video, not my design, but it works, and that's why I use it. If you come down this way, this is just me being, like, creative again, you know, making it look, like, really schwanky. But this is mainly just so if I have, like, netherite stuff and I want to turn it to, if I have diamond gear and I want to turn it to netherite, I come down this way and, like, just turn it into netherite. Okay, so we got that. We got the smelter. We got the crafting room. We need to talk about the villagers up top. So, if you go this way, which just heads out to the bedroom right there, to our right here, we have more villagers to trade with. And, of course, I have to be lazy and not do all of them, but at some point, there's going to be all of them. I just haven't done it yet. But right up here is the first enchantment table that I had for the world. This is the first enchantment table. And this is probably the nicest enchantment table room that I've ever made. This looks really nice. Once you're done looking at the beauty of the enchantment table, you can go this way to the nether portal and come. This is actually connecting to the trader heart too. But this is basically a way where I can zombify villagers, and you know, I can have like a constant supply of villagers, basically. But I can also zombify them, and also, like I said, get better deals pretty much. And this thing is really awesome too, because I made it to such a way where it's seamless. So this thing can shoot out a minecart, go this way. You know, you can, I have this wall here so the zombie doesn't aggro on me. But once it turns into a zombie, I can flick this thing with this lever right here. Basically changes the rails thing. And I can put the villager here. But if it turns out that the villager died, I can flick this lever, and the cart comes through, breaks right here, goes into this hopper, and then goes right back into the system right there. Like I said, it's very, this thing is made for lazy people, and that's why I made it. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all the farms at the mega base. So I think I'll go ahead and show off the farms that are far, far away from the mega base. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the Ender farm first, because I need to, like, really, like, get some stuff on my elytra. Anyway, we're just gonna go over here. And right at this ender portal is where the end is. You go down there. So firstly, before we go into the inn, I have this little machine that's a sand duper, and this works for any block that has gravity attached to it, right? And how it works is once you flick this lever, the best way I can understand it is the way the sand is falling. It goes into the portal, and where the obsidian plate basically always replaced no matter what, it constantly breaks the sand and drops the block, but then it also dupes it as well. I think that's how it works, but I'm not sure. But this is basically a good way to get like any like non-gravity type, especially like concrete. I've have basically nuked concrete before. But another good thing about this thing too, right, is you can also dupe red sand. And I've been using red sand a lot more because of this. But anyway, once you come into the end, you can see that there's a whole stack of sand. Yeah, I mean, there's so much sand, I can't even pick it up at this point. So, but that's why I got this little sorter to do it for me. So then this hopper pretty much goes underneath the little obsidian sheet, picks up all the sand, puts it into these chests or the crafter, depending on where the hopper is situated. But it's basically made to collect sand, or like I said, like I already do white concrete powder. So it just kind of depends on what you want to do, and like I said, this saved me a lot of time, especially digging out sand. Anyway, knowing we're done with that, we're going to talk about the Enderman farm, which I've used this thing for like since 1.20 at this point. And this is just a nice way to get XP. This is a great way to get XP. It's so fast, but also so loud. So basically how this farm works is there's an endermite right there in that cart. And every time when an enderman spawns, they get aggro to the endermite, and just like the zombie piglin farm, right? They get aggro, they run over here, and they see the trapdoor, and they fall all the way down there. And like I said, this is just the best way to, this is the best way to do it, though. And I think I'm being chased by 100 endermen. Oh my god, I am being chased by 100 endermen. Holy fuck. I think I got them all. Alright, cool. That was scary, wasn't it? Also over here at the enderman farm, there's also another enchantment table, so I can enchant stuff while I'm here. Anyway. Oh wait, I gotta sleep. Can I sleep? Oh man, this sucks. Alright. So anyway, there's also one more farm that I have too. And if you just keep going this way, you'll get to it. So right here, we have the mob farm, which is the biggest reason why the creeper farm at my mega base got obsolete. This is a way much more better... Oh fuck, hold on. I ran out of fireworks. Anyway, is a basically way much more better creeper farm, really. And the best thing about this thing too is it also drops redstone. You basically get bottles, you get spider's eye, sugar, glowstone, sticks, redstone, bones. Basically everything, and also gunpowder. And you pretty much just come up here and you sit here in AFK. What little I know on how this thing actually functions is not only it's up in the air where there's no spawns, but we're also in a deep ocean, which is like, I don't know like the whole logic behind it. I really don't know. But where there's not really so many spawns here, there's only one way to spawn, and it's that way right there for mobs. And this makes this thing extremely, like, just overpowered, because just standing here, you know, drops something. But yeah, of course I had to make everything more OP with the item sorter too, so everything's neatly sorted. But I think that's it. I think I've basically covered everything in my 3000 world. That's basically the tour. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my whole world in a nutshell. If you pretty much like this, like, comment, subscribe, skilly, bobbity boop. I'm out.